What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to this edition of Not All Women. I, of course, am your host, Donovan Sharpe. We are without the honeymooning, newly married Allie D. She is no longer Alyssa Villanueva. She is now Alyssa Drummond. She's happily married. She got the bag, so congratulations to her. Let's go around the panel and introduce our panelists. First up, let's start with Janelle. Janelle, you just came from Mexico and Hawaii and all kinds of other stuff. What was that like? And make sure you unmute yourself because I can see you're still muted. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Thank you, because I sure was going to talk. It's nice to be back. I'm excited to get back into our regular scheduled programming. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I was literally in Mexico for a week, came back for a day, 2 tops, and then went to Hawaii for a week. So I went to every island.
Wow.
But I'm just, we had a great time celebrating my guy's 26th birthday.
Okay.
And, had an amazing retreat, and I'm just trying to catch up on sleep. But I'm feeling great and happy to be back in the game with y'all.
Good. And you woke up, what, you said about 15 minutes ago?
15 minutes ago.
15
I
minutes
just kind
ago?
of threw myself together.
Very good. I just wanted to make sure we clarified that. Good to have you back in. Now, how did your retreat go? How did Hawaii go? Was it all a success?
The retreat was amazing. We had about 15 people.
Oh,
it was
wow.
an intimate group,
Okay.
but we definitely saved about 3 marriages that were on.
Whoa, really?
Oh yeah, it's like known that if you're all 3 of the couples that attended were either getting a divorce or about to break up.
And and you saved them through, I guess, sex, I suppose?
Well, through tantric practices, intimacy, and
Wow.
sex has something to do with it. So it's a known fact that if your relationship is on the rocks, or you need just like a tune-up, I've never lost a couple yet, so I'm pretty proud of that. And the retreat was amazing. Hawaii was good. My boo was like so happy, and I just loved seeing him, be able to just experience Hawaii for the first time. And
Good.
He said it was the best birthday he's ever had in his life, and I was like, oh my god.
Wow.
26 years, and I hooked him up with all his favorite stuff, and he was so happy, so that made me happy, of course.
Good. Taking dudes to Hawaii seems to be the cheat code, because that worked for Dev many moons ago.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. Dev took me to Hawaii back in October of 2016, and that's kind of what told me she was serious. So hopefully that
there
continues.
we go. We're on the right track, right?
Good stuff. Okay, next up from across the pond, it is the vanishing Tallulah Johnson. For you guys, for you guys who were not aware, Tallulah was actually, she disappeared. She's like, "Can you guys hear me?" We're like, "Yeah." All we could see was your chair. How did you pull that off?
Really good to be here. I don't know. I was sat in this chair talking to them, and all I could see on my screen an empty chair. It's really scary. I don't know what's going on there. There could be a ghost around.
It's good that you're. It is good that you're back, though.
I am here.
Yes.
Now. Great to be here, everyone, and looking forward to today's conversation.
Yes, this should be a very good one. Next up, from the same region, it is Pearl Davis of Just Pearly Things. She has just gotten her podcast started, and you're going to have Tallulah on. How you doing today, Pearl?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very good. Doing very, very good. You had a pretty solid live stream the other day. What is your podcast now called? It's called The Pregame or something like that?
Yeah, it's called The Pregame, because when you go to a party, like, they call it what do you go to before the party is the pregame.
The pregame.
And when I was in college, like, I always preferred the pregame to the party because it's like smaller, more intimate. You have like better conversations. So facilitating that sort of environment.
Okay. All right. So after you get done podcasting, you guys all go out, I assume.
Oh, some people. I'm boring.
You're boring. All right, very good. Okay, well, Pearl is self-proclaimed boring. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, it is Devin Sharpe. Dev, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great today. I'm ready to talk about all the red flags that
oh my God,
that I'm completely unfamiliar with.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't know why they're attractive.
I have no idea, but this is going to be an honest conversation because that seamlessly segues into what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to play the first section of my Womanese Volume 4 course, which is available at donovansharpe.com/womanese, what she says versus what she means. Here we go.
Oh, he's got tattoos? That's a red flag. His tattoos make me horny. He's got 3 kids by 3 different women? Not for me. I wonder if he wants another baby mama. I think he's got a drinking problem. Sorry, I'm out. He probably has issues, and issues are hot. He does pills and cocaine. No thank you. I kind of like the way that he doesn't give a fuck. He hates his mom? Deal breaker. His issues probably come from his mother, so I can forgive that. I heard he's a player. No way I'd get with him. Players are hot. He's a liar. I can't deal with liars. I'm sure he's got a good reason for lying. It's probably the crazy girls that he dates. He smokes? Gross. I ain't gonna cap on that. I've dated smokers before, and I probably will again. If he can't respond to my texts, he can't be my boyfriend. Actually, that's a turn on, because I know he's busy doing other shit. If he thinks he can tell me what to do, fuck him. Okay, it makes me mad, but it's kinda hot, because I know he's not afraid of me.
An ironclad rule of today's dating market is that a woman's red flags are a man's green flags. In other words, if something disqualifies her for a long-term relationship with him, that same thing qualifies him for every kind of relationship with her. Short-term, long-term, and everything in between. A woman with tattoos, multiple kids by multiple men, a drinking problem, does drugs, has daddy issues, sleeps around, is a liar, who smokes, doesn't respond to texts, and is a bossy bitch is automatically disqualified for anything outside of a one-night stand or casual fuck buddy arrangement. Never allow a woman to convince you that your red flags make you unattractive. It is quite literally the opposite.
Okay, let's go around the panel. Let's get you guys' first thoughts on what you just heard and saw. Let's start off with Dev. Dev, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's important to realize that not all red flags are created equal, especially like, with young women. If it's a quote unquote red flag, and these days like everything is a red flag.
Yeah, of course.
Some red flags are worse than others. So, I mean, I personally would call like a drug addiction a red flag, because in my eyes, like if someone's not in control of their life, then they can't really lead me very effectively.
Sure.
However, these women seem to think that red flags are equal. Like, what's a red flag for him is what's a red flag for her is a red flag for him. That's not always true. So yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, very good. Let's go to Pearl. What are your thoughts on what you just saw and heard?
I would say I'm like 50-50 on those. Some of those I would say are red flags.
There you go.
Some of them aren't.
Okay, like what?
Like, I don't like smoking. Like, I think that's gross.
Okay, yep, that makes sense. Have you ever dated a smoker?
No.
Okay, all right. I guess you're the exception. Tallulah, what are your thoughts on what you just saw and heard? What do you agree, disagree, etc., etc.?
I've got to be the same as Pearl, 50-50.
Okay.
Some of it I agree with, some of it not. The more psychological stuff, I would say I agree with. That kind of texting back straight away, and him kind of, I don't think it's a great thing, men lying, but that kind of bit of mystery, those types of things I agree with. But then there's a load on there that I'm just not. It's just not me. I'm not into it.
Okay, very good. And Janelle, unmute yourself.
My bad. Yeah.
There you go. That's all right.
It's interesting to watch. I think I would have to say that I don't agree with all of them. I think, it's different. Every man is different. Every woman's different. I mean, I think you can't really always put all women in a box and all men. You can generalize things, and it's almost always fairly true. The interesting thing is, I think if you really like someone, you'll let some things slide. And
There
they
you
don't,
go.
I think it's about having like your core values, like, okay, these things I'm not going to budge on, right? These
Right.
are absolute no's and they are red flags. But like, for instance, my guy smokes weed.
Yeah, but everybody does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
does. But for someone like me who's like, you know,
Yes.
my pastoral spiritual,
Of course.
I don't care. Like if that's what, and he's like, it's my meditation, you know? And I'm like, okay. So I think, you know, like, the other girls were saying that some of the main things that were like, you know, texting back and that sort of thing, but those things are valid, but I think also some of the other stuff could go either way.
Okay, like what?
Depending on how much you like him. Like,
There you go.
know, the baby mama one was actually hilarious though. I thought that one was
Well, let me drop a little bit of knowledge on you. Throughout history, only about 40% of all males have reproduced. Okay, so in other words, every person who has ever lived, only 40% of the total number of men throughout history are fathers, which means 60% of men never reproduce. On the other hand, almost 100% of women reproduce. So we've got 40% of men putting babies in almost 100% of women. And the main reason for that is because women have a different standard in terms of short-term and long-term relationship status. Obviously, we know the advent of feminism essentially split the man. You've got the alpha fucks and the beta bucks. You see, back in the day, if a guy was, if he came from a good family, if he had a good job, he would attract young, beautiful women. They'd have a family, etc., etc. Well, the advent of feminism and, of course, birth control, now they can go after the alpha bad boys when they're young and hot. Then when they've hit the wall or they no longer have those same prospects, then they go after the beta boys. The reason why red flag, or I actually need to ask you guys this. So in terms of red flags, now this is the $1 million question. Why is it that a man's red flags are absolute turn-ons for women? Why are red flags arousing? And let's talk about the red flags. Let's talk about some of the more prominent ones. Multiple kids by multiple women. And some girls won't date guys who smoke, but if you like him enough, if he looks good enough, if he checks off the right boxes, it's not going to be a factor. Let's see, multiple kids by multiple women, a criminal record, tattoos, hates his mother, etc., etc. Why is it? And I'm going to start with Dev here because I have a lot of these red flags. I have tattoos. I've been arrested over 24 times. I've been convicted of multiple felonies. I have violent proclivities, blah, 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 blah. What about these traits makes a man arousing, while men who don't have these traits, why does it make them arousing, while these men who don't have the traits, they kind of just get passed over until a woman is in her late 30s, early 40s?
Okay, well, a man who is a complete pushover and has no control of his life is not likely to have things like a criminal record or anything like that. Unfortunately, a lot of the qualities that make men great, which is being aggressive, being protective, basically doing whatever it takes to live a life of dominance, you're gonna run into like the counterpart of that. Nothing is free. So you're not gonna have all of the bad and none of the good, or all of the good and none of the bad. It takes a little bit of compromise when it comes to figuring out which red flags you're willing to deal with and which ones you aren't. But it takes more than compromise. It takes common sense.
Okay.
So, for example, have I ever seen you be violent? I have not. Is this something that is part of your past? Yes. Am I aware of it? Yes. But have you ever been violent towards me? No. So, it would be different if I was like, okay, I've got 2 black eyes and now I'm really turned on, then I'm a damaged human being.
Right.
However,
wait, hold on. Did you say black eyes or black guys?
Eyes.
I heard both too. I was like, wait.
Anyway, go ahead. Please continue. Go on.
Oh boy. So yeah, using common sense. Also, like as you live and learn, you understand like what is a deal breaker, what isn't. I think things would be a lot different if you had a lot of the red flags that really affect your present day life. Like you had 3 kids that you had to go and take care of every other weekend or something like that. Or for example, if you were actually in jail, that would kind of be a present day problem.
Right.
You know, tattoos on men, it's attractive. It just,
why?
Because it shows that they can make decisions that they're willing to represent and stand by.
Okay. All right.
But for women, it's just kind of like putting bumper stickers on a
nice
car.
I like that. I like it.
You know, yeah. So keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So let's let me spin this to Pearl. Pearl, are tattoos attractive on men? Yes or no? And why?
I don't like tattoos.
You don't like tattoos, but are guys with tattoos attractive to you?
Are guys with tattoos attractive to me? I prefer guys with no tattoos, but I understand like this, like why you would find guys with tattoos attractive.
Why?
Because it's kind of like more tough, I guess. Like,
okay.
Wouldn't you say? Like,
okay.
Kind of
yes.
makes you look like tough.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But no, my last boyfriend wanted to get a tattoo, and I was like begging him not to. I was like, please don't.
Okay, so let me ask you this hypothetical question. You have two identical you have identical twins. Okay, they are the same in every way. They look the same. They talk the same. They walk the same game. One has an arm sleeve tattoo. The other one does not. Which one is more attractive / arousing to you?
Oh, the guy with no tattoos.
Why?
I prefer like the more traditional, like I don't know, Christian concert, like I don't know, like that type of vibe. So that's kind of what I go for.
Okay, all right, very good. Let's go to Tallulah. Tallulah, are tattoos attractive on men? Yes or no?
I just want to comment before I answer that question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to comment on what I have learned in this podcast so far. What Devon said, when you asked her, what do you find attractive in tattoos? I've never, ever looked at that. And I would say I'm the same as Pearl on this. I think it's that at the household and maybe the area I was brought up in, that tattoos, I would never get a tattoo myself.
Of course not. No.
And no, but I've never had a boyfriend with tattoos, or I don't even think I've been on a date with a guy with tattoos before. I've been more kind of into a guy who exhibits what is the same message with, for example, I prefer someone to be making the decisions for me in a relationship. I prefer someone to be head of the household.
Right.
By sort of I don't know, but kind of it coming out that way, and maybe I like men in a suit. That's my thing. That's my kind of like, okay, he's showing strength, he's showing dominance, he's showing me security. I don't know, because I've never actually dated a man with tattoos.
Have you ever seen a man with tattoos and you found yourself attracted to him? Like, okay, he's got a sleeve and within reason. We're not talking about like in Austin, Texas, where people cover their faces in tattoos. Just have you ever seen an attractive man with tattoos? Or are you just not attracted to men with tattoos?
I'm looking at one right now.
There you go.
Never. Do you know what? Where I'm from and where I live, like no guys have tattoos.
Okay. So you just haven't been exposed to it.
I haven't been exposed to it.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Pearl.
I'm sorry. I like don't care that much, to be honest. They're not like that big of a deal either way to me.
Okay. Janelle, tattoos, are they attractive or unattractive on men?
I freaking love tattoos.
Okay.
I mean, I love alpha men. I love men that don't give a, you know what? I like men that go against the grain and that are going to not just cower and go with status quo and be in a suit. No disrespect to Tallulah and her men in suits.
Sure.
But to me, it's always funny too, because I can hang with my girlfriends and we will never like the same guys. It's always great. And Tallulah and I were actually talking about this. She's like, "Oh my God, we totally have the opposite taste." And men, so for me, the reason why I love tattoos is kind of what Devin said. It shows that you're willing to commit to something and stand by it, especially like the bigger. Like my guy he's working on a sleeve, and he's 6'8", so he's got a lot of room for tats. You know, he's working on sleeves and his legs, and I freaking love it. And they all mean something to him, you know.
Sure.
And I find that's really attractive. And I personally, this is just my personal opinion. I think for women, like, I don't think like they should have tattoos everywhere. I think if they have a few ones, like for me personally, I have a few, but you'll never see any of them.
Right.
In clothing,
Right.
You know, it's just like a little something, except for obviously my ring.
Sure.
With my guy, but and for women, obviously, it is not attractive to have a lot. If you have some, I think they should be small, and I think that if you're out on a date or at an interview, that you shouldn't be able to see them. That's kind of my rule of thumb. So back to men, I just find it like very alpha. It shows strength. It shows, like Devin said, they're willing to stand by something, and it also shows that they are kind of a little bit of a rebel, and I like that in my men, because to me, if they're a rebel, they're going to work that much harder to like have your back and to take care of you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so I think the general consensus is it's about 50-50. So let me ask the question another way, and I'll start with Dev. Why is it that most women appear to be aroused by men with tattoos? You don't have to say whether or not you're personally aroused by them. But Tallulah says, I don't really do guys with tattoos because of her upbringing. Pearl says she prefers guys without tattoos. Whereas you and Janelle admitted, hey, you know what? Guys with tattoos are attractive. So speaking for other women, and generalize, because generalization starts conversations, why does it seem that guys with tattoos are arousing to most women?
Well, I think Janelle hit it right on the head. They like the bad boy persona.
There we go. Okay.
You know, women want a guy who can think for himself, who is his own man, who makes his own decisions and is accountable to no one but himself. And, you know, he draws people in like that. So, you know, if he seems like he makes his own rules, then he's going to feel exciting, because then if you're along for the ride, then who knows what can happen.
Okay. So it's basically excitement.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Pearl, what is your opinion on why most girls appear to be aroused with guys with tattoos? And this, dude, tattoos are attractive to girls in their late teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s.
I think it's like the rebel vibe. Like, we all want a guy we can't control, you know?
Yes,
and I think that's just like another way of signaling he can't be controlled, I would say.
Okay, very good. So, and a man who cannot be controlled is a man who thinks for himself. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lila, your opinion on why you think most girls appear to be attracted to men with tattoos?
I literally don't know, because I just haven't really,
she's so cute. I love it.
I haven't been around anyone with tattoos, but I'm learning so much from the girls here about what they're saying about. So to you guys, you kind of see it as like, oh, he's willing to, you know, stand up for what he believes in and just go like not,
Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Tallulah, let's say you were dating a guy and you guys were getting intimate and you didn't know he had tattoos, but then you find out, you know, as he's kind of revealing his skin.
As he gets naked.
Does that make you hesitate and go, oh wait, this guy might have bad judgment, or does it not matter at that point?
I'd be so shocked. Like touched.
I believe her.
Tattoos on his body before, so I don't know. It depends, I guess, how much like you like this guy. Right?
There we go.
In, right? But yeah, I think that there's like I've got a few of my girlfriends. In fact, I would say, to be fair, with how much I hear about how much girls like tattoos, I'd probably say there's probably 90% of women that are into tattoos. Like every girl I hear likes them. But I'm more of kind of a suit person. I like a guy in a suit with some nice shoes and.
Okay. Very good. And this of course is the Alpha Fucks Beta Bucks, because I got a couple of $3,500 suits. I don't wear them often because that's just not really my style. But, you know, let me ask you this, Tallulah. If your guy, let's say the next time you see your boyfriend and he's got a sleeve tattoo, would that turn you away, or would you just be like, hey, if that's what he wanted to do? Or would it make him, dare I say, more attractive? Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one.
What's that?
Oh my God, yeah. Just a sleeve.
I mean, it's not gonna change like what he's like as a person, right?
Okay.
He's not gonna have a complete personality. I don't even know. I've got to think about this, guys. I really want to revisit this.
I agree. I love it.
We
I
need
love
to
it.
like get Tallulah exposed to a guy, like have her touch his skin.
She thinks he's so attractive, she doesn't care. You know?
Okay.
Like, he can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
So
very
what
good.
if a guy got tattoos after he was in a relationship with you?
Me?
But that's like
Tallulah, okay.
that's not my choice. If he does, it's his choice.
Okay.
But
All right.
it's weird because this is where I'm probably very, very biased, right? From where I've grown up. I think that, you know, where the place that I've grown up, like, tattoos aren't looked at as a strong trait, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they're not, because what I'm learning from all of you is it shows that someone stands up for what they want, and it's strength, and it's almost rebellion. But it's kind of been like something that isn't. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Well,
Go ahead, Pearl.
Like, I know what she's. It's kind of looked at as respectfully. Okay.
Yeah,
not
respect.
to be rude.
Yeah,
But it's kind of looked at as like trashy among certain like communities.
Yep.
Tattoos.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely.
like, I always grew up like my mom would always tell me, don't get a tattoo, don't date someone with a tattoo. Like, I'm not really that picky about it. Like tattoo, like I prefer none, but
if he has them, it's not gonna.
I don't really care that much, but
Does it depend what the tattoo is?
Here we
my
go.
mind jumps to tattoos that would be like worse than others. So like if he had like
A prison tattoo.
Oh my God.
A tramp stamp.
That would be the worst. But what I
Oh,
was
the
thinking
tear.
is
Yeah, you know Janelle's on the West Coast. She's talking about this right here. Yes, sir.
I know what's up.
You fucking around talking about the essays out there in East LA.
a tear.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
killed
my
someone,
gosh.
you get a tear.
You have tears, and then you get more. Like,
Allegedly.
For how many people? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right, these super chats are actually very, very interesting. You have something?
Jay Blazes. Super
Jay
chat?
Blazes. Oh my
Do you
God!
wanna tell them
No.
about that?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a minute. Don DeMarco with the $5 super chat says, "I'd say it's less than 40% because a good majority of that 40% were cucked and thought it was their child." Hit the Don DeMarco button. Hang on a second. There we go. Appreciate that from Don DeMarco. Dr. B84 says at least someone isn't. Got a question here from Awestrike. Says, can the ladies name a red flag that would be a deal breaker? Let's go to Dev. Oh, what you got?
Is a past criminal history of sex abuse towards minors.
Oh, good fucking God. Okay, right.
Yeah, that would be nope.
That would be definitely a
nope.
nope. Yeah, that to me is obvious. You guys know, you know that I have you've seen my criminal record. Why did that not turn you away?
Honestly, most of it seemed like this, like everything kind of had an explanation, and you really identified the root cause of those behaviors and why you were acting that way. And by the time I met you, you were already addressing that. So I could see, like, if it was something that you hadn't addressed, like your anger issues, and already taken proactive measures to make sure that doesn't happen again, I think things would be a little bit, I'd be more hesitant. But I mean, at that point in time, you were already talking to a doctor, and you know, you were making the necessary changes to your life to steer clear of that path.
Okay.
So to me, that's, you know, live and learn. People make mistakes. Yeah, people go crazy about pizza sometimes. I get it. But
that was my fourth convicted felony. I beat the crap out of somebody over a pizza.
Right. But if it was to the point where you and I were out to dinner and then you freaked out on someone because of something stupid, then I would have to be like, well, this guy lacks self-control. So for me, it wasn't a present day issue when I was walking into a relationship with you, because you had already taken measures to address it. And I think that's the best thing that you can do when you identify flaws of your own.
Okay, I'm going to do this with each of the ladies when we come to their red flag. So the reason why you decided not to overlook them, the reason why you still decided to pursue a relationship with me is because I was in anger management counseling. I was actively doing things to make sure I didn't fly off the handle again. Why is it that most girls don't appear to do this? Because girls are with guys let's face it, girls like guys who have violent proclivities for whatever reason. And I'm sure that you can probably tell us this. If a guy flies off the handle and beats the crap out of somebody else, he gets arrested and put in jail. Any girl that he's with is not going to be like, oh my God, he can't, he's not in control. Dude, I'm telling you, 80% of the time, she's going to be like, dude, I'm going to bail you out. We'll beat this together. So why is it that most girls don't run away from guys who are violent or have violent proclivities?
Women want to take care of men. So I think there's an instinct in them that says, oh, he needs my help. Even though he's getting into trouble, he's depending on me to help him get through this situation. Okay. So in a way, it makes him feel needed. Okay. In another way, it's kind of like, oh, this is exciting. So what's going to happen next kind of thing. Right. But they don't feel like they're in imminent danger themselves.
Okay. All right. Very good. So it does it almost, is it a protector thing as well? Like, wow, I see my guy can beat the crap out of somebody else. If push comes to shove, if he has to defend my person, he can do that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Pearl, what is a red flag for you that would be a deal breaker? What is Pearl's number one deal breaker red flag?
One time, a guy bamboozled me. He didn't tell me he had children.
He bamboozled you.
Yeah, I was bamboozled. And then on top of that,
I love it.
On top of that, he tells me that he had 2 kids he returned.
Returned what?
Like them. Like he adopted them for like 3 years and then sent them back.
Oh, okay. Well, that
was, I'm not gonna lie to you, that was a deal breaker.
That's pretty bad. That is
really bad.
Yes, I think I certainly can imagine. What's Pearl's second biggest red flag deal breaker, other than adopting kids and then sending them back 3 years later?
I feel like if you have children, that's like a first date conversation.
So you would not date a man with kids?
It's hard to say I wouldn't because I have, but after.
And why did why did you date that guy with kids?
Oh my gosh, he lied to me about it at first, and then I was already like attached, to be honest, so I didn't like walk away.
So had he not had kids, so you knew he had kids when you started dating him?
No, I didn't. When I started dating him, I didn't know.
Okay, so would you date a man with kids?
Well, that's why I say now, no, but it's hard to say no if I have. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's kind of hypocritical to say no.
Okay, tell me, who's the most attractive man you've ever seen in your life?
The most attractive man I've ever. Oh my gosh, my celebrity crush is Zuby.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
That's my celebrity crush.
Zuby?
He's so fine.
Oh my God.
How do you spell that? I don't know.
It's Z-U-B-I. He might actually.
Nobody send this to him in the comments.
Yeah, Zuby is. I didn't know he was a celebrity. He broke the female deadlifting record by identifying as a female and.
What?
Yes, that's the guy. He said, I identify as a female. He broke the deadlifting record.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that on this live. Well,
no, that's okay. No. I asked you this for a reason. So Zuby. So if Zuby hits you up and he's like, hey, Pearl, like I'm trying to take you out, obviously you would say yes. What if Zuby had 3 kids? Would you date him then? Yeah,
God,
Z-U-B-Y.
No. 3? No. Oh my God, no.
2 kids?
Be over with. No.
You would not date Zuby if he had 1 kid.
No, this is the thing. Okay. I wanted to wait till I was married. Okay. That was like when I was younger, that was what I wanted to do. I didn't do that. Right. And I feel like because that's something that that's something special that's supposed to be between like a husband and a wife, in my opinion. Okay. And I don't, but now the whole, dating game has completely changed all that stuff. But I'm more of a traditionalist, right?
Okay. So even if Zuby expressed
wait, can I finish?
Go on.
Finish. Okay, but I feel like having a child with someone is like the last thing I can give to a guy, and I really would like it to be both of our first.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, that makes sense. So even if it were Zuby, like in real life, you would not date him even if he had one kid.
That would be really hard for me to say no to, but I would say no.
It would be really hard for you to say no to, or would you say no? The point is that you would consider it for the right guy. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
Very good. Okay.
No one send this to him.
I'm not. Don't worry about it. Tallulah, what is a red flag that would be a deal breaker for you in a guy?
I have two.
Okay, let's do it.
That have been on the list. If he smokes weed,
okay,
I'm not really bothered about cigarettes, but if he smokes weed, and if he hates his mum,
ooh,
those are my deal breakers.
Okay,
red flags.
So you have no problem with cigarettes, but weed is where you draw the line. Why is it that you draw the line at weed?
I think again, it's like quite a biased thing for me.
Okay.
It's like I tried it once when I was like in my teens, and it was just awful. I just thought I was gonna die. I also have I hate the smell of it. It absolutely stinks. And I think as well, it's just I've always looked at it as and this probably isn't true, but I've always looked at it like quite a poor drug.
Okay.
You know? And
yeah.
Again, probably just, my conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I don't know how much it would cost, but that's just, I don't know, what I've always thought. And then the mom thing, I found that with the relationships I've had with guys, they've always had this certain relationship with their mom where their mother has almost. Have you guys seen South Park before?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. Right. So the mother has almost been like Cartman's mom.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, Cartman, you can do nothing wrong, and just it's all about him, and Cartman's smashing up the place, and the mom.
Yeah. Right.
Best,
Right.
But I think that all the guys have actually been the same with they really love and take full ownership for their mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that really attractive, a guy taking ownership for the women in his life. And I've always had close relationships with my partner's mothers. In fact, I've usually spent more time with the mum than my partner.
Okay.
But there's almost he respects and takes ownership for the mum, but there is also a distance. He doesn't play into that kind of dynamic, the Cartman mum dynamic. But yeah, I think it's really attractive when a guy can take ownership for women in his life, even if he's very matter of fact about it. I think that's a good thing. And yeah, just the weed smoking, no.
So let me ask you this as a follow-up. So your boyfriend, what if all of a sudden he starts smoking weed and you find out he secretly hates his mom? Would that change your attractiveness level to him? Or do you love him enough at this point to where, okay, yeah, I'll let it slide?
I need to be really careful about what I say right now.
Well, I don't want you to get yourself or anyone in trouble.
I mean, he would have a complete personality transplant if those two things happen. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, that makes sense. Janelle, what is a red flag that would be an absolute deal breaker for you?
I have a couple, but I wanted to answer the other question about why the one about what makes it so attractive for tattoos for men versus women. For women, to see them.
Right.
Everyone went, but I didn't.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. I think the main thing, and everyone kind of said it, but I really think it's boils down to a few things. One is that it's an alpha trait. It's an alpha characteristic trait.
Okay.
And I think when women see that, it's it almost like lures them in
Mm-hmm.
to their femininity a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because I think when other men see a man with a tattoo, it's almost like that's a rite of passage too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
It's like, okay, you're one of us. You're now like we got this.
Sure.
And when women see that, it turns them on a little bit, because it's like, wow, this man can protect me. He's a take charge kind of guy. He's got these alpha quality, characteristics and qualities.
All right.
And I think most women have a fetish for that, even if they don't admit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Want to be taken, right? That's why 50 Shades of Grey did
yes,
so well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what is a red flag that would be an absolute deal breaker for Janelle Gordon?
Okay, there's a couple.
Okay.
Of these. One, if he was in some kind of crazy cult where they
yes.
where
Okay.
they did stuff to animals or kids, kind of like Devin said, it's going to be a huge no.
Okay.
Two, if he's married.
Okay. So a deal breaker would be if he's married. I think that would. Now, well, let me ask you this. There are some women who actually like married men. Why is it a deal breaker if a guy is married?
Well, here's why women like married men. Let me just answer that first.
Let's do it.
Women like married men because it's the same reason why women like men that have pets. Because it shows that they're willing to commit to something.
Okay.
If a man has never been married and never had a dog and never had a child, that's a red flag to me, actually. I'm sorry.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
Depending on his age.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
But so I think that's a huge thing. And why do they like married men? Is that was the question?
Yeah, because women date, there are women out there who only date married men, and they do it, and a lot of them, they say, well, it's just for selfish reasons, but a lot of women indirectly say it's pre-selection. Well, he's married, so somebody's fucking him.
Exactly. That it's like the chance of, like, they say sometimes it's better not to wear your ring, because if you wear your ring, then you're going to get hit on. Because
that's all right.
They know that you're willing to commit. It's like why some men have a fetish for pregnant women, because they know
they're whoa. Yeah, I have never had a fetish for pregnant women.
There are some, but I think
okay.
Why women like men that are married is, one, they know that they're willing to commit. Thanks. Two, they obviously have characteristics that are husband material,
sure.
Right?
Right.
And three, this is a twist. This goes a little bit more into psychology of why certain women. I'd be interested in seeing the kind of women that are dating married men, because I think this is a good one. I think that they are dating married men because they're getting their fix, whether it's sex and how much emotional connection can a married man give you? Not much. He's already married. He's already having to give that to someone else. So I think that certain women that are going after married men are a little more masculine, and they don't want that emotional connection.
Okay.
So they're like getting what they need. They're getting sex. They're getting maybe, dinners here and there, but they're not really going deep into the feminine, because men are unable to give that much emotional connection to more than one woman. It's just they can barely give it to one woman.
Of course.
So that's my little take on it.
Okay.
I know it's there, but
okay, very good. Yeah, listen, thanks for wait a minute, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Thank you very much. There we are. Thank you for the honesty. There was another super chat that I wanted to get to. Yes. JBlaze11 asks, what if a guy has another woman's name tattooed on him? So now, Dev, I'm going to come to you with this because I had another woman's name. Yes, I got that. I got that covered up. So, what if he has the name of another woman tattooed on him? Is that a deal breaker or not?
Well, for me, it was, what did she do wrong?
Okay.
And why is she no longer in this picture? Actually, it wasn't really that big of a deal. I didn't really care, to
Why
be
not?
honest.
Why not?
I mean, it's just ink, and she's no longer in your life, and it's not like you were paying homage to your ex or something.
Sure.
So,
sure.
I kind of just looked at it like another design, and honestly, like, I'm glad you got it covered up because it was terrible. It wasn't a good tattoo, so it looks better now.
Yeah, I agree. Pearl, what if, let's just say Zuby hits you up, right? Zuby hits you up and he's like, hey, I want to take you out on a date. And across his chest, he has a tattoo of the name Danielle. Is that a deal breaker or not? Unmute yourself, please.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No, I wouldn't really care.
Okay.
I think out of respect, you should get it covered up if you're with someone new.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're as long as they're not still in love with the girl,
of course
who
not.
cares?
Clearly. Okay, very good. Tallulah, now you're not into guys with tattoos, but what if he had his ex's name? What if you found out your boyfriend had his ex's name tattooed on his armpit where you've never seen it? Is that a deal breaker? Yes or no?
Especially if I didn't know about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I mean, I just have nothing self tattoos because I have no experience.
Okay.
With it.
Fair enough.
But I think I'd agree that it's kind of something in the past. It's in the past. Like it's not. Yeah. He's there with. Yeah. No.
Okay. Janelle, is that a deal breaker if a guy has the name of another woman tattooed on him?
Not a deal breaker as long as he gets it covered.
Okay. All right. And what if he says, well, I'm not getting it covered up? What does that tell you?
That there's still some kind of emotional something there, and I just would be like, no, it would be a deal breaker for me. I wouldn't be cool with that. I mean,
Okay.
I know it's simple, but like if she's not in your life anymore, and it shouldn't be a deal to cover it up,
Okay.
And there's no kind of like, I'm with Devin on that one. Like, it's just like, just do it, just kind of, it's like a respect thing.
Okay.
I think.
Dev, what do you have on this?
If a guy has his ex's name tattooed on him, part of it tells a woman's brain that this man loves deeply. Like he loves enough to like want her to be a part of him. So it's not so much of a red flag as it is to say, hey, like this guy actually is capable of giving so much love and devotion that he's willing to mark his body with proof of that emotion. So I mean, I'm not the type of person, I think most women aren't as threatened by the past as like men are. Men and women are completely different in this regard. So for me, it told me more about you and your character than it did about your feelings for someone who is 5 years in the past. So.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'm going to make a statement. I want to see if you guys, see if you ladies agree. What it comes down to as far as red flags are concerned, just like I said in that snippet, a man's red flags or a woman's red flags are a man's green flags. Now, different women have different red flags that they're okay or not okay with. Like we get that. But the overwhelming majority of women these days tend to flock towards guys who have these red flags. Guys who have multiple kids by multiple women, they get women throwing the booty at them all the time. The reason for that is because that's pre-selection. He had sex with 3 women enough to the point to where they got pregnant. He must be, and this is all in your firmware. You're not doing this mathematically. In your mind, oh wow, 3 kids by 3 different women. Does he put it down in the bedroom? What's he really like? Does he make me feel magical? The point is that if a girl likes a guy enough, she'll tolerate most red flags. Now, the red flags you talked about, sex crimes against children, clearly that's a no-go for anyone. I don't think that's
returning kids.
Yes,
returning children.
Returning children. But the kinds of red flags that today's women talk about that make men undateable, these are the kinds of men women date. Women go after fuckboys, ladies. Like this is just how it is. Women go after the fuckboys, they go after players, they go after serial reproductionists, they go after guys with tattoos, they go after guys with no jobs, they go after guys with all of these red flags. So now I want to know your opinion, just not specific red flags. I want to know your opinion. I'm going to start with Pearl. Why does it seem that women go after the guys they tell the world they don't want?
Oh, because you kind of hate that you want them.
Ah,
like a little bit, because you know they're dangerous. You know, because
okay.
it's like what's the alpha's like the dangerous guy, the beta's the safety.
Yes.
And I think every woman wants like a mix of the two.
Okay.
But you're definitely attracted to the dangerous guy, but like you don't want to be because they're dangerous, you know?
But why are they?
Well, because, you know, I mean, for me, there's certain types of guys where I'm like, I feel like there's so many girls around him that
there's got to be a reason.
No. Like he would probably cheat. Like that's dangerous to me because I really don't want to be with someone who cheats. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. But if he has girls around him, that means girls like him, which makes him inherently more attractive.
So it's the double. That's true though. So you're still attracted to it, but it's kind of like the double edge where like a part of your self that still, you know, craves that beta side, right? The safety and the security. Like we crave that too.
Of course.
You know, so I think women say that because we don't particularly like that we like the same guys, you know. Like it's not a fun reality.
Good honest answer. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Tallulah, why is it that girls tend to go after guys they say they don't want?
Because the guy is often, you know, he's often wanted by so many other women, this type of guy. Not every woman, as we've, you know, discussed with our different things today, but those, you know, those guys, you can have a guy who has got tattoos, hasn't got tattoos,
right?
A guy that's got loads of women around him. All those things, you could put all those guys in one room and there's all kind of like masculine energy going on. And I think it's just a lot of it, like you see a guy acting what some women would call not snobby. My head's gone because I'm on camera, that's why.
Don't sweat it, it's all right.
Acting arrogant, right? And one of the girls like, oh, I don't like him, he's arrogant.
Right.
That brings across like confidence, or oh, I don't like him, he's a player. And it's like, you do like him. And then they'll describe, this is what always happens, and then they'll describe, but I want a guy who really likes me and he's sweet and he does this for me and he does that for me and he's this certain age and all this like criteria. And I've said to girls before, okay, so that's your friend that I've met before. Why are you not with him then? Because he ticks every single one of those. That's the best way to do it, because half the time is you'll find that these guys that are posing as friends to women often has every single trait that like she claims she's looking for.
That's right.
She's actually interested in it at all.
Wow. Okay, very good. Janelle, why do women these days say that they're not attracted to them? Why do they say that they're not attracted to the men they go after? Fuckboys are a red flag. Multiple kids, multiple women, red flag. Drugs, alcohol, blah, 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 blah. Violence, criminal records. So all of these girls talk about all these red flags, yet they seem to flock to these kinds of guys. Why is that?
I want to go a little more subconscious, like
let's do it.
Psychology, because you said it. A lot of this is it's not even known behavior.
Right.
It's in the subconscious. It's programmed in there because of daddy issues. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, women don't have a healthy view of their bodies, of their sexuality, of sex in general, because of what religion and society has programmed into our minds about sex. So because of all these things, women actually think less about themselves than they should. And this, again, a lot of this is subconscious. That's my son running around the background. Sorry, y'all.
You're good. Sorry.
About to make him some pancakes. And so with that being said, they are more attracted to those, quote, characteristics that are bad. Like, you know, multiple kids or drinking and smoking and all the stuff that is known in society as these are bad things. You should, because what we go off the traditional model of relationships, right? one man marries one woman and you have children together, right? Well, just like kind of like how Pearl's more traditional is.
Right.
That's what the society does say as normalcy. Even though we've drifted from that, that's still heavily ingrained in the subconscious.
Okay.
So when you go against all that, when all these women are liking men that are in the antithesis of that, it's because deep down, there's a part of them that wasn't either A, nurtured by their father, B, they have poor views about themselves. So they're willing to tolerate that kind of quote behavior because it does seem like it's meeting one of their needs. And remember, I've said this on past shows, the reason why we do anything and everything in life is to meet our basic human needs.
Right. No, I totally agree. Very good answer, Janelle, as I work to, sorry about that, I was a little slow in the uptake. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my reason why I think women go after the kinds of men they say they don't want. What it really comes down to, and I agree with you, Janelle, it's a biological firmware thing. In a woman's mind, women are attracted to men. Women are attracted they're attracted to attractive men because attractive men give them offspring that are attractive to other people. What that says to a woman subconsciously is, okay, if I have babies with this person, my babies are also going to be attractive like him, which will make them more likely to have opportunities to reproduce. So legacy-wise, women are attracted to attractive men because it makes their babies more attractive. Women are also attracted to red flags, such as violence, because a man who can get violent is a man who can protect her and her children. Even though women are as safe as they've ever been in human history, if the shit really hit the fan, if push comes to shove, if a woman knows, whether it's his criminal record or she's actually witnessed it, if a woman knows that a man can step in and literally protect her person and her kids, his brood, that makes him more attractive. Now, a woman is not saying, oh my God, this guy flies off the handle and beats the crap out of people. This is a red flag. Now, outwardly, they'll say that, but their firmware is telling them, okay, this man can protect me. The bad boy is not afraid of anybody or anything. At least that's what's in their head. And what it comes down to is women are attracted to men who can protect them and give their offspring a better chance to reproduce with other people. And women are never thinking about this consciously. It's all in the subconscious. This is why women always say, I don't know why I fall for the same guys. You fall for the same guys just like women fall for the same guys, because you know he can physically protect you. You know that he's a good physical specimen, so he's going to give you good looking offspring, and so on and so forth. Got a couple of really good super chat questions here, and I apologize, I'm a little slow on.
Not only that, like women like to throw salt in the game. They were like, he's got red flags. He's bad for you. Don't be attracted to these guys so I can have him without the competition.
Yep, they'll go and date him. That's right.
They'll go and date him because the guys say this. Women say this stuff to me all the time about my guy. Like, why would you date him? He's only 26. You know, he's da da da.
Yeah, but they would all bang him if they had a chance.
Oh, they would, exactly.
Tallulah, you had something to add?
Yeah, just on the subject of violence, and I was thinking about this, is violence can come out in so many like different ways for a man. So you can see a guy like beating someone up and you'd have that sort of biological thing like, oh, I don't like that, but he could protect the hide and protect the children in the family.
Right.
But then you can also have other ways that it can come through. Like, for example, a majority of women would be attracted to someone like a surgeon. Okay, because there is a form of violence to that, and also there is a form of, like, for example, like, as you guys know, I've had quite a few surgeries.
Yeah.
And the level of responsibility that person is taking is like off the charts.
Okay.
And also, like, every surgeon is very like careful and very sort of, am I doing the right thing? They try and avoid surgery at all costs, but they must have less fear than other men.
Yes.
Because you have to think, like, one of my surgeries was 7 hours. Like, you know, the surgeon before, the day before, like, he came in and he was like, I'm wondering if I'm like doing the right thing. But like, he deals with that on like a weekly basis. He stayed up the majority of that night thinking, am I doing the right thing?
Right.
And he came in and he did it. But like that kind of level of responsibility, and I'm not only talking for guys, but anyone, is huge to be, you know, you can't sleep at night. You can't, you're thinking there's less fear for that type of person. So it's a form of violence. It's still a form of violence. They can cut someone open and go, right, okay, I feel okay about this, and
that makes
take on that.
Yeah, look, I like that take. We as men, we are very risk tolerant. Women by nature are risk averse. This is the way it is. And the more risk tolerant a man is, the more attractive he is, because I mean, we say it all the time, no risk it, no biscuit, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Women admire men who take risks, whether they're calculated risks or not. They admire men who take risks. And just like the surgeon, pilots have to have nerves of steel. You are flying a 33-ton steel tube 35,000 feet above the earth at 650 nautical miles an hour. That takes a lot of concentration. It takes a lot of skill. This is why all of the pilots are banging the flight attendants and the stewardesses, because they know that what they do in that cockpit is nothing short of a miracle every time they switch on that engine. Frederick Carter, I want to know if you guys agree with this. $20 says, guys who can get sex without being a good guy isn't incentivized to be a good guy. So in other words, the reason why men take on these bad boy personas is because women are not rewarding men for being good guys. Devin, agree, disagree, and anything to add to that? Did he keep it real? He kept it real, didn't he?
I mean, it makes sense, but can I see the question again?
It's right there on the screen. Yep. It says, guys who can get sex without being a good guy isn't incentivized to be a good guy. So basically, and this is what I went through, Dev. When I found myself, quote unquote, in Vegas, I knew that being a good guy or being myself was not going to cut it. Only when I started to not give a fuck and be honest with bitches, listen, I fly off the handle, I've been arrested, blah, blah, blah. Only then, along with some other important steps that had happened in my life, only then did I get a more positive response from women.
Yeah, I think that you should come back to me because I don't really have an answer for this one. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Let's go to Janelle. Janelle, Frederick Carter says, guys who can get sex without being a good guy isn't incentivized to be a good guy. So in other words, he's saying the reason why dudes are running fuckboy game, yeah, Definite G says it right there. Men, we do what works. Back in the day, getting a good job and being honorable and all that worked to get the ladies. That's not the case these days, so men have adjusted. Do you agree or disagree?
I 1,000% agree.
Okay.
Women are attracted to these types of men because that is like subconsciously the type of men that they want. And so why are men going to hold open the door and to return text and to call, 24 hours after, all these things that dating rule books say to do, like the old school ones, right? That just doesn't work anymore. Women like the guy. Like, here's a perfect example. Let me use a story from my little dating history.
Let's do it.
This is pre my guy. I was, I had been dating a couple guys, and I found out that like right away I liked my guy. He was just had it. Okay, I had it for him, and the things that he did differently. And the funny thing is, I was talking to a photographer of mine, and he said, "Listen, you just sat here and told me about the couple guys you're dating, and." He said, but the one guy who has you the most is the guy that's giving you the least amount of energy.
There you go. Yep.
The least amount of attention.
There you go.
He is not available for you. You literally sit there and wait for his text to come in, and you bitch at me when he's not texting you. And then it was funny because like a few months later, he goes, isn't that funny that you ended up with that guy?
Yeah.
And it's not to say that he did it like when I did see him. He was all in. He took me to the best places.
Of course.
Because I didn't see him enough. If he didn't do that, of course I'm not going to be interested, right?
No.
But that just goes to show the guy that did not give me the time of day. He wasn't like, he didn't respond. He was busy in his work doing his life. I was the most attracted to him, and let me add that he actually checked me.
Oh.
Yeah, he checked me early on and was like, remember? I think I've told you this before. He's like, why would I drive all the way?
Oh, I remember that. Just for sex. Yes.
And I was like, oh my God. And
wow.
That's when I was like, I need to level up and I need to show him my value. And I showed him my value. I'm still here a year later.
Okay, very good. Tallulah, let me get your take on this. Fred Carter. Guys who can get sex without being a good guy isn't incentivized to be a good guy. So basically, just like Definite G said, men do what works.
Yeah, I mean, you could take that question in two contexts. So,
Okay.
When I first saw it, I was like, well, you know, how far does this mean with being, you know, a good guy? You know, you could just be like a decent person. Like, I'm not, like, if it was someone that was a really dangerous person, a horrible person, then no, you're probably not going to get anywhere with women.
Okay.
But I absolutely agree with with the question, but I slightly disagree with what Janelle said. Like,
Okay.
I think when a guy holds the door open for you, and he does it in a certain type of way, I think that's really good. I think what's great is when a guy is with you and he is gentleman on point, but not too invested. Like, for example, say something to you like, you know, if you went to get your, you know, how we all do, girls, on dates, we'll go to get our money out, and, you know, often they go, oh, don't worry about it, or whatever. Like, if you went to get your money out and he goes, no, you don't pay when you're with me, something like that, like, completely, there's no emotion behind it, no, you don't pay when you're with me, that's it. Like, he's in frame, but he's still being a gentleman. Like, he's held the door open for you, but, you know, he's still leading, he's still being a leader in that situation. Then I definitely think that's really attractive. But what I do agree with Janelle is where her partner turned around to her and said, actually, I'm not going to come all that way, like, to
just
be
right.
Like that I get that, because that is attractive, because he's doing, and I always say this in my videos, he's doing what he wants to do.
There you go.
When he wants to do it. He's not making any changes in his life for his what his partner wants in, you know, kicks and screams and wants in that second. It's like, yeah. So I would say that a guy that's sitting there being nice, going, oh, where do you want to go tonight? Oh, yeah, I'll come and see you. Or, oh, yeah, I'm coming round and I'll help you and I'll bring this. And those guys are friends that will just use.
Wow. Holy shit, man. She Tallulah just kept it real.
Like, that's the truth. You're not even our friend. Like, you're not, it's not even a friend, because we respect our friends. We don't respect that.
Wow.
That's true. And let me just add something.
Yeah, go ahead, Janelle.
I don't think it's a bad, like, that was maybe a bad example. Like, I do think it is a nice gesture for men to open doors and to be respectful. And I just meant, like, you know, more pushover guys. But that's no, please always, their chivalry is not dead. It goes a long way, even though I know it's probably bigger in the UK because you guys are really prim and proper there. I don't know if it still goes down like that here, but that's never a bad thing. So let me just say that.
Okay. Yeah. Only hold the door open, gentlemen, for a woman who is worthy of holding the door open for. Sure. You do not treat a lady like a lady if she's not acting like one. If she's not acting like a lady, you don't act like a gentleman. That's generally how that goes. Pearl, what are your thoughts on this super chat? I'll read it again. So Fred Carter says, guys who can get sex without being a good guy isn't incentivized to be a good guy. So in other words, the reason why guys aren't being good guys is because, well, most women respond to asshole, quote unquote, type behavior.
What do you define as a good guy? I think is the question. Because
well, let me ask you this. What do you define as a good guy?
Well, I think of a good guy as a guy with integrity, morals, character. But what a lot of times I see guys do is they say that, oh, I'm the nice guy and I'm the good guy, but really they're just a pushover and they're afraid to say what they want. So the bad guy gets the sex because he's not afraid to say it.
There you go.
We're the quote unquote nice guy. But is he actually nice if you want something and you're too much of a, like, I don't
yes,
you know, to ask for it?
No,
like,
you're
that's
right.
not attractive to women.
You're right.
Like, we're the girls. We're the indirect ones. We're the ones that are afraid to say what we want. Like, that's our role.
Yes.
And
right.
You're like, and a lot of guys will say, oh, I do all this for girls. Well, stop. Like,
okay.
Like, you don't do it for girls that aren't interested in you.
Okay. All right.
Like,
and the reason why you said it like that, I do though this for girls, like, stop. Part of your voice intonation was stop Stop lying to these bitches. Like, stop trying to come at this like you're a good guy who wants to be with this girl for moral reasons. Listen, if you're trying to get at me because you want to have sex with me, just fucking say so, instead of acting like you're this moral guy, who only wants the best for you and all of this morality and everything. So in other words, you're telling me that good guys are usually sort of not really a wolf in sheep's clothing, but they're disingenuously nice. They're only nice because they want something from you.
And girls can feel that.
Of course.
Like we pick up on so much more than men do.
Yes,
like,
you do.
We can feel it when, like, have you ever said no to a guy, like, to hook up with him or whatever, and he gets like angry and like mad and like entitled? Yeah. Like sometimes those are the quote unquote like nice guy. I took you out to dinner. I did this, and then you're like, okay, well,
like, I don't owe you sex because you bought me dinner.
Yeah, there's a whole subreddit called Nice Guys.
Really?
Yeah, and all it is like girls, like, well, guy was like, oh hey, you're beautiful, blah blah blah, and she's like, sorry, I have a boyfriend. He'd be like, F you, blah blah, you're something, and call our names. Like, so it's all like these guys that are trying to shoot their shot by being nice, and then turning into complete crazy people, like, within a second because she didn't text back fast enough or something like that. So it's to play on the guys trying to, be Mr. Nice Guy and then basically turn into the bad boy when they don't get what they want, rather than the opposite.
Yeah, they're not really turning into a bad boy. They're turning into a child, because they're actually throwing a fit.
Tantrum.
Yes, temper tantrums. Dev, you've had time to think about this. Guys who can get sex without being a good guy isn't incentivized to be a good guy.
Yeah, like what they said pretty much hits it. People are going to do what works. Like a successful CEO isn't successful because he's nice or demanding or alpha or beta or whatever. He's successful because he's doing what it takes, and that's what works. I don't think that labeling a behavior is the key to making an accomplishment. So just because you're a nice guy doesn't mean you're going to get laid. Just because you act like a dick doesn't mean you're going to get laid.
Okay.
So yeah, yes, you would think that women want to incentivize good nice guy behavior, but at the
it's not rewarded.
It's not rewarded because it doesn't come off as masculine.
Nope. It absolutely does not. Let me read a couple of these super chats because I've got another really good question for all of you. Ostrike, $10 super chat. He says, you'd be surprised about that certain kind of sex crime. Someone made a dating profile using one of the male model type photos. So many women wouldn't mind the crimes. Yeah, I saw that post.
There's a lot of damaged women out there.
It is what it is.
And it's the same thing with, like, good-looking people get privilege on
both
sides.
Yes, they do.
You don't think if you, like, there's a Victoria's Secret model that was kind of like, not the best personality, you might overlook it because she's hot. Like,
of course.
Do the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, we give girls more leeway depending upon her attractiveness level. At least men who don't have much experience with highly attractive women. But if you've hooked up with and been with and fucked enough attractive women, you get to a point to where you don't deal with their shenanigans anymore. Because, dude, the hotter the girl, the more vapid she is. Fred Carter, another $20 super chat, says, I know a guy with good upbringings who take on drug dealer personas because drug dealers get the best looking women in the community. There you go. Men do what works. He's a good guy, had a great upbringing, but he acts like a drug dealer because, well, girls respond to drug dealer type traits.
The entrepreneur.
Yes, I'm an entrepreneur, girl. I'm trying to get a deal. I'm gonna go back to Dev here. I'm gonna ask a question to all of you. Devin, what do you consider to be a good guy as you define it? Not a nice guy, but a good guy.
A good guy?
Mm-hmm.
Just a man who has principles and you can count on his word. Someone who's lives by their own code of ethics and carries himself within that. So
okay, what about, does he have to be nice? What about personality traits?
Everyone's different. Okay. Nice is subjective.
Okay, like we just discussed here. Yeah
do I want someone who's going to be mean to puppies? No. You know, but do I want someone who's going to like freak out on a waiter for bringing a dirty fork? Absolutely not. You know, so there's a balance there, but really, like, it comes down to does he have core principles that he's living by, and you know, does he represent himself well? Does he represent me well? Same thing.
Okay, very good. Janelle, what do you consider to be a good guy?
A guy that lives life by his rules and has a standard for his life,
Okay.
and does not budge, and a guy that puts his core values and his needs actually above mine. I think that's very important, because if he's willing to like budge on his, like, for instance, my guy, if everyone's like, well, why doesn't he just move to Newport? Why doesn't he do that? And I'm like, he's like building his life. Why would he like stop doing what he's doing for me? That would he would eventually resent me, and I wouldn't respect him, even though I would love for him to be here, right? But that's not him fulfilling his life's purpose. So I think a man who stands by his core values and his life purpose, and at the same time makes time for me and respects me at that level for respecting him. I think as far as like attributes, like he is like, I don't know how to say this, like, he's a dick, but he's nice when he needs to be.
Okay.
And I kind of feel like that's it works, you know, because if a guy's like nice and all this, women, they're not attracted to it. My guy, I wouldn't say is necessarily the nicest person.
I think what you're trying to say is you don't like men who are agreeable, because agreeableness is a feminine trait.
Correct. And the fact that, but I will say this, I will caveat this and say that a man that's willing to be who he is, and not be agreeable, and be that kind of alpha persona, like making the decisions in the relationship, not just doing everything I say, but at the same time takes my needs into consideration. And when he can and when his schedule allows, he definitely goes all out for me.
Okay.
And he does that. And I think that's really important.
Okay, now before we go to Pearl, to Lula, you said you had something on this or the last topic?
It was the last topic.
Okay.
I can quick chime in now, or
Sure.
we can just pass.
No. Go ahead. Are we talking about the guys who can get girls without being a good guy is not incentivized?
Slightly. We slightly went off topic when we went back to Dev, and I was just thinking that, you know, you could have a guy that is, I don't know, like a physically violent guy out there, and women are attracted to him because they see it as safety and things like that.
Sure.
Then, you know, and he could be head of the household, he could be all these like alpha traits. But for example, if that guy ever turned around and touched you, like hit you or your children or anything like that, that is not attractive.
Right.
That is actually a guy losing complete control, coming straight out of his frame. And, you know, I don't know whether the woman would stay around for much of that, to be honest.
Okay.
And even if she did, she would just have no respect for him anymore. She'd be scared of him rather than having respect. But that was my little piece on that.
Okay, very good. And what do you define as a good guy?
Do you know what? I think definitely the classic gentleman.
Okay.
As a guy. A classic gentleman is someone that, you know, does hold the door open. He does you know, pay for the dates. He is the leader of the household. He is making the decisions in the relationship. I think as well, a good guy can be actually someone who they express their sense of humor through dry humor. That's a really, really attractive trait. When you're
the same way, Dev. Dev loves the dry sense of humor. I make her laugh all the time.
Humor. And I just had someone laugh. I don't know who that was, and they just went like that because they know, right? Right. I don't know what one of you girls said. And it's because they're still so in frame, and they just like say something like completely dry, no emotion, and it's just funny as hell. And I think that's a really attractive trait. So yeah, a gentleman, all of those things, and someone that, if you know, like, you know, what I said about, you know, a guy with his mom, a guy with his partner or his children, is that yes, he's making decisions, yes, he's in his own frame, but he takes full ownership. He creates like a container around those people in his life of safety and protection.
Okay.
That's what I mean by like owning.
Yes, that makes sense.
Women, he owns, the children, his mother, and he takes full ownership and creates a container for her, for safety reasons. And that can be coming out in other ways.
Sure.
Leader of a household, staying in frame, doing what he wants to do when he wants to do it, but still knowing that what he's doing, even though it's fulfilling his wants and needs perhaps more than the family's, he will actually be doing the best for you. And there's a very classic scene which I might actually do a video on. Please put it in the chat if you guys would like me to do a video on it.
Okay.
In Titanic, you've got Rose and you've got Cal, the first guy that she's with before she goes with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Jack, yeah.
Yeah. So his name's Cal, I think.
Yeah.
And he's this sort of like classic gentleman. Yes, at the end he kind of turns a bit too far, like not a good guy.
Sure.
But when he sat at the table back then, he was telling they're all sat there at lunch, and she starts smoking. Right, so she's smoking, and back then it was just kind of like, oh, women don't smoke. They had to sit upright, no smoking, and just staying quiet. And the mother said to her, Rose, I don't like you doing that. And he literally gets her cigarette and goes, she knows, puts the cigarette out.
There you go.
That is alpha behavior. That is a good guy. She knows. And then he's like, yeah, we're both going to have the lamb. We're very little whatever.
She'll have the lamb. Yep, I remember that.
He is, and then you get the bigger woman, right? The sort of like
the unsinkable Molly Brown. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Love her, but she goes straight in there. She's single. She's not with anyone. Her partner is not at the table. He's off somewhere. And she goes, oh, you're going to cut her stuff for her too? And like, actually, he's just doing it to protect his legacy, to protect her body, all of those things. So that is actually what I would put as a good guy, but not how he is at the end. But
okay.
Classic gentleman.
Before I go to Pearl, you made a very, very, very good point there. The movie Titanic, I think it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time. I think the movie Titanic is just as responsible for the failure of the dating market as maybe Sex in the City. Because if we really, really look at the premise, Rose, she hit the jackpot. She hit it. The guy's a super alpha. He's wealthy. He's good looking. He has all of these alpha characteristics. But instead of hitching her wagon to the guy that she should have, she decides to go after the starving artist, right? I won my ticket in a lucky game of poker. Oh, that's so attractive, and he can dance and sing and all this other kind of stuff. This woman, literally, she was going to throw everything away for this starving artist, for this life in New York City. Let's say the Titanic didn't sink. Let's say that Rose decided to get with Jack Dawson after they got off the ship. That would have been a fucking nightmare, because that's not the Jack Dawson. That's not who women choose.
Yeah.
Women choose. Go ahead.
No, go finish that. Yeah, and I'll.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, Jack Dawson is who women choose when they're young. The good-looking guy, the guy who just kind of flies by the seat of his pants. He was in Paris, and then all of a sudden he was in Southampton. Now he's on the Titanic. But that's not realistic. If that story happened in real life, Rose would never have given Jack Dawson a second look, because he is below her in class. No way that happens. The unsinkable Molly Brown was almost the second introduction of feminism. Oh, were you going to cut it for her too? What the fuck is wrong with a man ordering for his woman? All of the traits that Cal had were shamed and looked down upon. And now, of course, he's trying to kill him. Of course he's trying to kill him. This fucking artist, the starving artist, just fucked his girl in a Model T. He's going to be pissed off. But what that did, that subconsciously made Billy Zane the bad guy. Billy Zane is the guy that women need to marry. He had some alpha bad boy characteristics. He had a fucking gun. Jack Dawson was good looking, and he was a talented artist. That should have never happened. Go ahead, Tallulah.
Yeah, I was just going to comment. It's just brings back so many wonderful memories. My lovely grandmother, she was with me when we went to see Titanic, and she was so excited to see it. And because Titanic wasn't like that long, since she was born.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It was very
1912.
and she was so excited for it. And I remember saying to her, I was only young at the time, but I sort of said, "Oh, how come she's going with that guy?" My grandma said, "Oh, I don't know." And we came home, and my mum was like, "Oh, how was the film?" And and I was just like, "Yeah, it was good. It was like a really good film." And my grandma, I couldn't believe it. Every Titanic's phenomenal, right?
Sure.
My grandma just said it was terrible.
There you go. There you go.
She got it. She got it. Because of that, she hated it. But Pearl doesn't like Titanic.
I hate that. I've hated
Pearl,
it since I was a kid.
Get in there. Why do you hate Titanic?
And it's the same reason I hate the Notebook. I've said this.
Oh, yes.
12, I swear to God. Because they're romanticizing cheating.
Yes.
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 And then, okay, the Notebook. I'm going to bring this movie into it, okay?
Let's do it.
Some guy from high school, he could be a whole different person.
That's right.
Now, okay, you're gonna leave this guy that's super nice, takes care, and under the guise, what? Why? Oh my God! And then the second one, I always said that Rose was not in love; she was in lust. She
of course.
Really good sex.
Yes.
Okay? That was it. I'm like, she didn't know him. How
No.
was she gonna say that was the And I've said this since I was a kid. I'm telling you.
When she said, "When the ship docks, I'm going with you." Like, what? Like, Jack Dawson has not a penny. Yes, he has not a penny.
He could kill you off the ship. You don't know him.
In New York City. It was literally New York City. She had a chance to be with a rich guy, but then she decided to go with the starving artist. Just like you said, romanticizing cheating and saying, well, love conquers all. Well, except the Titanic.
Well, if you want to go be dumb, but break up with your fiancés first.
Wow, plural.
Like, I'm just saying, all you'd have to do is say, look, it's over. Here's the ring. Go do what you want. But, like,
nope.
Well, because women want to have options.
That's right. She wanted to branch wing.
Get those options after you break up. Oh my God.
Want to have options. I'm not saying what she did was right. I'm just saying she wanted to have options. She wanted to say, because let's just be honest, like Donovan's saying, like this woman, and she was used to a certain kind of life. Like, look at what she was wearing. Look at
Jesus, the heart of the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. She was used to Christian Louboutins. Louis Vuitton, Chanel,
real talk
back in the day, and then she's gonna give all that up. She's gonna be selling those bags so they can pay rent. You know
real talk.
It's just not. It doesn't work like that. And they make good movies, and they romanticize, these passionate love affairs. But relationships don't end for lack of love.
No,
they end for lack of polarity and sexual attraction and chemistry. So the fact that she, took on this whole one night fantasy, and then she was rewriting the course of her life. It's not gonna happen.
To me, it's just that is a dangerous movie because Rose was about to kill herself when she met Jack. Her life, woe is me. I'm set for life. I'm, like everything is taken care of. I'm gonna have kids. Woe is me. I just can't handle it. That to me was feminist fucking mental gymnastics. Rose had everything, and the bitch literally lost it all. Do you think Cal wanted to get back with her? I don't know. Cal probably survived. But do you think... Oh, he did?
He did.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, isn't that interesting?
I know he's not real, but there's some clips on YouTube of, they've got clips that were never used for the film. You guys have to look. Cal stayed alive.
Oh my God. And DiCaprio's character, Jack Dawson, says, and I want you to ride horses. None of this side straddle stuff. Oh, so you want her to stop acting like a lady. Listen, I'm telling you, if you watch Titanic from a red pill lens, you can see that was propaganda from the start. Big time propaganda. I'm glad we had...
I think what we should do, there's a really good idea, and guys in the chat, let us know.
Yes.
We should do a reaction to a really long movie like Titanic. We could all sit down and watch it together and react to it.
That would be awesome. We could do that on Sharpe Stream because the damn sure won't let us do it on YouTube. That's for sure. That's a good idea, actually. That's a very good idea. Last question. Last question for the panel, and this is kind of a curveball question. Would you rather... Would you rather be with a guy who is boring or a guy who has philanderous proclivities? In other words, a serial cheater. Boring or cheater? Dev, go.
Boring.
You'd rather be with a boring guy?
Yeah. I'm not gonna go in there and say I'd rather be with a cheater. Yeah. I don't want those problems.
Oh, wait a minute. I tried to hit the stop the cap. So you would deal with a boring guy?
Yeah. I'm not 18.
Oh, there we go. Oh my God, dude, you are.
Yeah, man. I want some stability, dude. Like I want to know that you're coming home at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Now at 45, you said I'm not 18 anymore.
Right.
So when you were 18, was it the same?
Probably not.
Oh, and why do you want boring stability now at 45 rather than at 18?
I work damn hard for you, babe, and I am not giving that up just so easily. Like I will take boring nights at home, watching Netflix with you.
Oh boy, here we
over go. Sitting around worrying what you're doing in Miami without me this time. So,
okay, I guess you were the wrong person to ask. Is it your opinion that I could cheat on you if I wanted to?
Well, yeah, you could.
Okay,
you
well,
can do anything you want to
All
do.
right, there we go. Okay, well, she doesn't count, but that makes perfect sense. Pearl, boring or serial cheater? Go.
Boring.
Tallulah, boring or serial cheater? Go.
Boring.
All right, Janelle, boring or serial cheater?
It's boring because I have all the tools to make things exciting.
Oh boy, all of you.
Woohoo!
All of you, stop the cap. All of you, stop the cap. Yeah, listen, you can't admit that kind of stuff on the air. Okay, so now here's a question that I know you guys will be honest with, and I'm going to start with Janelle. What would you tell your son? What are you going to tell your son about how to deal with women in today's dating market? He says, "Mom, give it to me straight. What do I need to do to earn the love and respect from the kinds of women that I want the love and respect from?"
This is a great question because I talk about this with my guy a lot.
Oh,
yeah, we talk about this a lot. You know, I'm going to give him the real. I'm going to explain to him that he always has to have a level of respect for humans, period. Man, women, doesn't matter. You just have to have that level of respect. But I'm going to teach him that if he wants that woman or these kind of women that I know he's going to go after, and my son's attractive already, that he is going to have to treat them a certain way. And I'm just going to lay it out for him, like what he needs to do and how he has to put his needs before theirs and how he needs to, like, I'm going to give him game.
right.
I can't do it, but I'm also going to have him around my guy and other men that can really help foster that. Because I do not want him. My worst nightmare, guys, is that my son will be a beta male. I swear to God, I will sleep over.
Wow.
And my guy doesn't make it any better, and he does it, and I know he's doing it like out of love. He's like, he's a coder. He's like, he is in coding school. He's like, you don't think he's gonna? He's like, he's not gonna get any girls. So he's always like pushing me, and I'm like, no, he's in basketball. He's like always pushing me to toughen him up, and he's like, don't let him sleep with you anymore. He's like, no, you want him to get girls, and so we have this conversation a lot. And
Good.
It is like the biggest fear.
Okay. Tallulah, if you had a son, what would you tell him? He says, "Mommy, how do I get today's women?" In my terrible British accent.
That is hilarious. I love it.
Why don't girls like me, Mummy?
I would definitely I'd have a bit of a conversation with him, but I'd send him to his dad.
Okay.
And I would also give him your literature and probably Rich Cooper's book as well.
Ah, yes.
And maybe the Rational Male, but realistically, I'd get dad on board for it. But I do the best that I could.
Okay, very good. Pearl, what would you tell your future son? Let's just say that you and Zuby got together and had a son, right? What would you tell him? He says, "Mom, like, what's up with these bitches out here? Like, I'm trying to be a nice dude, but you know, I see this black dude online talking about you can't, like, bitches ain't shit. Is there something to that, Mom? Are women evil? Like, what is it? Tell me what's up."
Well, I would tell him to talk to Zuby because he's clearly doing something right. Cause...
You really, really like Zuby. What is it about Zuby that tickles your fancy?
I just think he's so fine.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know who this
I'm blushing. Oh my god.
Yes, you are dead. Wow, you're blushing like a motherfucker. Okay, well, Zuby, you know where to send your you know where to send your dick pics. Yeah, absolutely. Last and certainly not least, Dev. If you and oh boy, how can I ask this question?
Oh boy.
Let's just say if you and I had a son and he says, "Mom, Dad is telling me all this kind of stuff," but what he says is the opposite of what the world is telling me. So how do I become attractive to women? Do I listen to what Daddy says, or is there something more I need to know?
If I had a son, I would tell him to know himself.
Oh, okay. God. What does that mean, Mom?
Like know what he wants from women, know what makes him happy, know what his bottom line is, like what he's willing to put up with, and then just be unapologetically himself, and like women will follow. Like you've got to live.
What do you mean unapologetically, Mom? Just say I'm 14 years old.
Okay.
What do you mean unapologetically? So do I never say I'm sorry? Like what is that?
Don't make excuses for wanting the things in life that you want. You don't need to justify it to anybody other than to yourself.
Oh. Okay.
So, if for example, you like to live a life where you are in charge of your household and you make the calls and you created a life like that. You're not going to apologize to anybody for that. So why, once you're comfortable in your own skin and you know what you want, you just got to charge straight ahead. The women will follow. Women want to be led. So in order to gather that momentum, you're going to have to start charging forward. You're going to have to be a leader. And the first person you lead is yourself. And then people will end up in your flow.
But Mom, I just really want to get butt. Like that's really all I'm interested in.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Okay, all right, very good, very good. Good answer. There by the lovely and talented Devin. Somebody said in the chat, "Mummy, how do I get bitches?" That would be. We got another comment says, "I don't like British accents, but Tallulah's is enchanting." Wow, enchanting. That is. I don't think I've ever heard that term before. Okay, let us go. Actually, I do have one last question, and then we'll end this for real. Janelle, why is it that a man who is too available, because that's what turned you on about your guys, that he was not available all the time. Why is a man who is available all the time, why is that unattractive?
Sorry about that. It's just adjusting my camera.
It's okay.
At first I didn't get it because I realized that when the men that I was talking to would text me back right away and I would have conversations, I was like, oh, this is great. I'm getting so much energy. And, women, we need energy. We're feminine manifestations. So we like a lot of energy. So when I was getting that, I thought, oh, this is great. But then I realized when I wasn't getting it from my guy, I realized what the attraction was.
Okay.
When you get a lot of that energy from a guy, they become your friends.
Ooh, that's it.
You don't fuck your friends. You don't fuck your friends.
That's all right. That's right.
Well, maybe for most people. So
okay.
I realized that that's exactly what it was. It's if a guy is too available, he becomes your friend, and that a friend isn't. There's not a sexual polarity. And remember, for relationships to last to work, there has to be sexual polarity, sexual chemistry, and that attraction. Every time I see my guy, when he walks in the door, it's like a old Lucy film. Like he literally picks me up and just like,
oh wow.
Yeah, it's like that because we haven't seen each other in a minute,
Right, sure. The reason, so what you just described is if he's too available, that's when we put you in the friend zone. Availability is extremely attractive to men. I love a woman who is available to me all the time. That's what women are supposed to do for men. However, men who are too available for women, that is what class? A feminine trait. And if you are exhibiting feminine traits with women, guess what? They're going to put you in the friend zone because you are acting like a female. Pearl, why is it that too much availability is unattractive?
Yeah, well, it becomes needy.
Ooh, okay.
You don't.
All right.
You don't like needy people.
No, you do not.
There's girls I don't like because they're too needy.
Oh shit.
You know,
Okay.
I can't imagine like guys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So so that availability eventually becomes need, too much neediness. Tallulah, why is too much availability for a guy? Why is that unattractive to you?
It just sort of tells me that they don't have anything else that's better in their life.
Bingo. That's it.
I like a man to have bigger things going on. So
Okay.
whether that be his family, whether that be his work, whether that be his friends, whether that may be him going to the gym or whatever, even small things like that, he needs to, like, if I was saying, oh, you know, can we go and do this? I'd rather him say, no, I need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm doing this, but maybe after or whatever, than putting me first all the time, because I will just end up disrespecting him. I won't have respect for it, because, and it will also feel like I'm leading the relationship more.
There you go.
I like someone who's leading, and I like to feel that it's kind of a catch 22, but it's kind of like, if I wasn't around, that he would still be moving forward, I guess.
Okay. No, that makes perfect sense. Good answers, all of you. Dev, why is too much availability unattractive?
You want a man who has his own things going on in his life, where you feel like you're a part of his life, not like he is latching on to you and riding along with you. So I think that if a man expresses himself in a way that feels needy, it's almost as if he's looking for a mother or a friend rather than a girl or a partner, like a spouse or a wife. Okay, very good. Excellent. I think this was probably the best episode we've had. And it's too bad we didn't have Allie here, because all of you ladies were very, very honest, very, very honest. And that's why I pride myself on this show, because you guys are all very, very honest. You guys are not giving politically correct answers. I think the only question that you guys all capped on was the boring versus cheating. A woman would never admit out loud, I'd rather be with a guy who's a serial cheater than a guy who's boring, and that's the way it should be. You should never ever admit out loud that you are more attracted to behaviors that are not good for a monogamous relationship than boring traits. So you guys are not supposed to admit that. Okay, let's go around the panel. Tell the people where they can find you. Janelle, lead us off.
You can find me on YouTube at Janelle Gordon. I just hit 1 million views. So
woohoo!
For watching. Now that I know I've been saying I'm creating content, but I literally just had a retreat and was in Hawaii. I am already writing and scheduling content for this week, so you will be getting 3 videos from me a week, so stay tuned.
Good. Good.
You can find me on TikTok at Janelle Gordon O Factors. I'm posting all kinds of content from behind the scenes retreats, so if you're intrigued by my work, I give you a little sneak peek of that.
Good.
And Instagram, you will be able to find me again very soon.
Okay, excellent. Tallulah, tell the people where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on my YouTube channel. It's called The Feminine Truth. That's The Feminine Truth. I believe I'm only sort of around 20-25 subscribers from 1,000.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone that is on the live chat that has been incredibly supportive of my new channel. And also massive thank you to everyone who's on this panel tonight. Donovan, you have completely taken me under your wing, and I'm approaching 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Every single one of you has been an instrument in the channel growth for me. So I appreciate you all. And I also have, I think I have TikTok. I think it's The Feminine Truth, and Twitter is Feminine Truths at Feminine Truths. And Instagram is The Feminine Truth.
Tallulah, as of right now, she is 18 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. Guys, we need to make this happen right now. Go over, Devin, I want you to put Tallulah's, okay, put it in the chat. We need to get her to 1,000 subscribers today. I'd like to actually get her to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the show. Subscribe to Tallulah. We are trying to get her to 1,000 subs. Pearl, tell the people where they can find you.
So you can find me at Just Pearly Things on TikTok and Instagram. The only difference is my Instagram has a dot, so it's just .pearly things. I'm also on Twitter. I forget my username.
Okay.
I'm barely on Twitter.
Well, she finds her. Go ahead.
Oh, it's Pearly Things, but with a Z at the end.
Oh,
so
Pearly Things. Okay,
yeah,
Pearly
I think
Things.
Okay,
very good. Very good.
Know.
Dev, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me right here, Monday through Wednesday and TSR Live.
Monday through Wednesday or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday?
I don't remember. I was just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
You know, weekdays.
Okay. And your Instagram?
I use 404, not 304.
This is funny. We are getting ever closer. 989 subscribers. Let's get her to 1,000. I need 11 of you guys. To subscribe to Tallulah's channel. She is 11 subscribers away. We're going to do the countdown here. She is now 10 subscribers away. Subscribe. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Boom. There it is. What was that?
I have no idea.
All right. She is now 9 subscribers away. 991 subscribers away. Let's give our final thoughts on today's topic. Janelle, I want you to kind of give me your overall thoughts. And I guess the question I want you to answer is, and I know we've sort of touched on this before, but talk to the men out here who are watching in terms of, because so many men tune into channels like this because they're just not good with women. What's the best advice you can give men to be successful with women today?
I would say number one is if you're watching.
Hey, we hit it! 1,000 subscribers! We did it! Let's get the Don DeMarco. Yes! Very, very nice. Tallulah Johnson is now at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you all. Okay, Janelle, please continue.
Sorry.
Yes, no, you're totally good. I think the main thing is if you're watching this show, this is a good start because you have Donovan's advice, and clearly he's been doing this work with men for I don't know how long, but I assume a long time.
Oh yeah, 8 years.
8 years, yeah, so almost a decade. And so you want to make sure that you're always success leaves clues, and you've got to model someone that's doing it. So please don't get advice from these people on TikTok.
Oh my God.
Like young
Jesus
kids that are
Christ.
barely wet behind the ears. They don't know, like, no disrespect to youth because youth is coveted. We know that. But
absolutely.
When it comes to this type of thing, getting relationship or getting women, understanding women, you have to seek out experts in this field.
Yes.
Donovan's an expert in this field, as are the people that he has on his show. So model a mentor. Success leaves clues, and don't look for your advice from these young millennials, no disrespect again, that are just posting content that it's bad advice. There's so much bad relationship advice on TikTok and Instagram. And for me, there's someone that this is my field of expertise, working with relationships, working with men and women in relationships more as a unit. It's so dishearteartening for me to see people taking advice from these viral that they don't have your best interests at heart. The information they're giving you is cap, and I think that's the first time I've ever used that word.
Yes.
My boyfriend says it too. And so it's like, stop doing this because these people are making a fortune off this content and you are still alone and single. So do not follow their advice. Success leaves clues. Get a mentor, someone like Donovan or someone in this community that's a man that can help you to get to this place where you're able to attract women and whatever it is you're wanting to do. So
good. Very, very good advice. Very good advice. Yeah. Just to add on to what Janelle said, you're right. And Rich Cooper says this all the time. Success leaves clues. A lot of men who are new to this community, men who take this who take the advice that we give to heart, those are the guys who leave their egos at the door. A lot of times guys come into this community just to try to berate us. Donovan, you say you're an expert, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I am a fucking expert. I've banged hundreds of women. I've been in good relationships and I've been in bad relationships. I'm in a relationship now that benefits me and other people around me. Listen, I know what I'm talking about. You don't have to take my word for it. Just look at the clues that success leaves.
Correct.
Pearl, what is your best advice to the guys who are watching, who I mean, again, Janelle nailed it perfectly. So many guys, like, people are getting financial advice from memes. People are also getting relationship advice from 2 and 3 minute TikToks. And the relationship advice is all bad. Devin, you sent me an article today, 300 red flags in a relationship, and they're fucking ridiculous. But right at the beginning of the article, it says, well, this isn't relationship advice, not to be taken seriously. Much like when Tallulah confronted Brian Zarpentine, who said, well, it's just for entertainment purposes, blah, 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 blah. So what's your advice to men who are clueless and lost? They're like, okay, Pearl, you're a woman, but dude, where am I going wrong? Why are my relationships in the shit? What should I do? Just be 100% honest with me.
What should you do if your relationship's in the shit? I would say,
or actually, I'm sorry, I got off tangent there.
Okay.
What kind of advice would you give today's men about how to handle today's women? There we go. Sorry about that.
Put yourself first, because no woman wants to date a guy where you're the center of his world.
What? I cannot believe you just said that.
Yeah, we got fans on Instagram. We don't need them in real life.
Okay, very good. I like Pearl's succinct answers. Tallulah, what advice would you give to the men who are watching, who consume content like this? What advice can you give them? Tallulah, what's the best thing you can tell me to be successful with women here in 2022?
I would have to back up Pearl. Don't make her the center of your life. Make yourself the center of your life. Have a purpose and just live by that, and never apologize for that. I think that's really important, is just keep, women will enter your frame if they see you staying in your frame.
Yes.
That's point one. Point two is, surround yourself with people that have what you want.
Good.
So that might be
Good.
Friends.
Yeah, you say that all the time.
Yeah, it might be your friends, or it might be even just consuming, some good stuff on YouTube. Not too much, but some good stuff. And if you want to take it that step further, then go and get a mentor. One of the guys in this space, not the women. I've never coached a guy personally, but I really think that a male coach is right for men.
Very good.
So yeah, that's it. My little take on that.
Tallulah Johnson, the newly 1,000. She is a part of the 4-figure club with the enchanting accent. Appreciate that. Dev, last but not least, your brothers. You got a couple. Dude, your brothers are impressive. One is a 6'4" alpha Adonis who fishes in Alaska. The other one is probably the smartest person I know.
Yeah, I think he's doing fishing charters out of Miami now.
What?
Yeah.
Oh shit, man! Next time we're down there, we need to go see him, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we could put together something for the CME, but
that would be okay.
Yeah,
Okay, very good. Yeah. So, what would you advise the men who are watching this? Devin, you and Donovan, blah 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 blah. How can I what can I do to get a relationship like you and Donovan's? What do I have to do?
Ironically, I'm gonna tell them to not listen to dating and relationship advice from women, especially dating and relationship advice you see in a meme format on a TikTok video or some other thing. And the reason why is because one, a lot of women don't know what they want or need, and two, when they do know what they want and need, they won't be honest about it because it'll probably make them look bad. So yeah, so take your own approach to dating and relationships. Learn from your experience, learn from others. Try to emulate, or at least not emulate, but learn from the men that you admire, just like the other lady said, mentors, things like that. But also just gather this information and then take your own approach to life. Just don't try to copycat other people's behavior and like, that's not alpha, bro. You know, you've got to take take everything and, you know, translate it into how you want it to be a part of your life.
Okay.
So yeah, so don't listen to me.
Okay, very good. Don't listen to Devin, but listen to her. Got it. I understand what you mean. That's going to do it for this edition of Not All Women. These shows are getting much, 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 much better. That is probably, today's show is probably one of the best, most information-packed shows that we've had in quite a while. And I sincerely thank all of you ladies for making this possible. Join us here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. As for now, Devin and I, we are going to order lunch from Boston Market. But during that time, I'm going to put on my headphones and clean this motherfucker up. Thank you all for watching. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next week.